Okay, welcome back to Talking Business and Best Practice TV. My name's Kobe Simmet. I'm the CEO at Best Practice. And in this video, we're going to be talking about what I see from social media trends and trending activity on LinkedIn, trending activity on YouTube, trending activity on TikTok in the next couple of months. We're going to start adding in some of these statistics and some of this activity. In 2020, we did 36,000 social media posts, and we've learned a lot about what the platforms like and don't like, what works on LinkedIn, what doesn't work on LinkedIn. So if you're interested in knowing what is working on all the different social media platforms right now, and you're somebody who maybe finds social media a bit of a challenge and you're looking for some inspiration, I can give you some tips in this video, and I'm going to be giving you some tips in this video on for the short term. And when I say short term, for the next month, I can say that this will work for the next month, and then maybe it'll drop off, maybe it'll get better, but I can give you some guidance for the next month for your social media content. The platforms are always changing, but I'm going to give you some tips in this video on what to focus on LinkedIn, what to avoid on LinkedIn, what to focus on YouTube, what to focus on Instagram, what to focus on Twitter, what to focus on TikTok. We're going to get into it. So I always find it really exciting to know where everyone is in the world when you're watching these videos. So let me know in the comments. It's a great way for you guys to use the comments. So if you are watching live on LinkedIn, or if you are watching live on YouTube, then please let me know where you are in the world watching. And more importantly, once you get into the rhythm of using that comment section below this video that you are watching right now, whether it's the live recording, and we are live right now, we're live at the same time, same place every week as we talk about what's coming down the chute, what's coming down the tunnel in the economy globally and in business on a week-to-week basis. We've got lots of great trends coming up. We're going to be talking more about the trends that we're seeing and the trends we're experiencing, and more importantly, the trends I'm predicting, because I can see a bit of pattern recognition. That's one thing that I am really good at. So, hey, Patrice, great to have you on board this morning. I can see your comment there on LinkedIn. And if you are watching live on YouTube, we've got a few people live on the YouTube channel. Let me know in the comments if you are able to comment. If you're logged into Google and you can comment, let me know where you are watching from. So Patrice, where in the world are you at the moment? Let me know where you are. Okay, let's get into it. If you are watching live on LinkedIn right now, I want to talk to you about if you are somebody who wants to post some content. Let me give you some tips and advice on the best types of content to post and the content to avoid. So the first thing I'm going to give you right now, if you are watching on LinkedIn and you're a LinkedIn user, is the type of post to avoid. What we've been finding is there's a couple of buttons obviously below the post. What we're finding is that the share button below a post, if your objective is you're like, you know what, I'm not going to post content because I'm not sure. So what I'm going to do is just hit the share button. I found this interesting. I'm going to share. What we have found is when you press that share button, from our perspective, and the goal here is to get eyeballs. The internet is a popularity contest. I think that's an important thing to remember, that with regards to bringing awareness to what you're doing, to you, your brand, that the internet is a popularity contest. When you hit that share button, you'll get next to no views. So if your goal is to get views, if your goal is to get exposure, if your goal is to share an idea, you would be far more effective to do a screenshot of the post that you like and then post that picture of something that you liked, because a picture of a screenshot loaded from your camera roll. So you get your iPhone, you do a screenshot and you post it on LinkedIn and you say, hey, I found this article really interesting. You'll get more views if you do that. If you just hit that share button, it's very easy for you, but the algorithm says, actually, you know what? I want to post more original content. I want to show the users more original content. Users want more original content. Then the share doesn't work. So whenever I share an article, and an article, if you want to scroll down on my activity, an article was shared yesterday where we interviewed someone on a podcast. They posted that they'd done that, and then we shared that on our on my page. It only got 100 views. Now, a post for us, a high performing post, in the last 6 months, some of the highest performing posts we've done have had 400,000 views. And when we shared something yesterday, it had 100 views. So the polar difference between 400,000 views and 100 views is significant when you are trying to get exposure and use your account. So I want you guys, when you do post something, I want that post to go well. So I'm going to quickly go over what to focus on LinkedIn and how to do things. Now, if you LinkedIn is a really interesting platform, I find, for professional development, but for some statistics for you, LinkedIn's got about 185 million users, and about 16.2% of those users use that platform on a daily basis. Let's compare that to TikTok, for example, where TikTok is currently at 1 billion users, and 90% of those users are on that platform daily. Now, you might say that, oh, TikTok is for a younger generation, and I don't disagree with you. However, the platform's average age of user is getting older very quickly. And the users will use the platform and move on the platform and activate the platform, particularly parents that want to see what their kids are up to. But parents are still humans, and humans are reactive, and they will start consuming the content that they want to consume. So let's just bear that in mind when we're talking about LinkedIn. So what should you be posting? If you want to share a link to a website, your website or a website that's really interesting, and you have to think about the person who's going to view that, the person you're sharing it for, your audience or your followers or the people that are part of that platform. If you post a link in LinkedIn, whether it's in a post, like you go new post, you type some text, you paste a link, it auto loads a cache of that link, and then you basically go, right, I'm happy with the post, and you press post. You're asking your user to click that link and go out of the app. So whether they're on a desktop computer or a smartphone, whether on a Samsung, an iPhone, or whatever, it's going to launch the browser and it's going to go off in a different direction. LinkedIn doesn't want that to happen, because LinkedIn makes its money out of advertising. LinkedIn makes its money out of subscribers using their subscription, so their pro subscription to LinkedIn, or recruiters buy access to the database. LinkedIn doesn't want the users to leave the platform. So if you post a link, it will be suppressed. And every time we try to post an external web link, it will be suppressed. You can post internal links on LinkedIn if you're desperate to do that. Someone wrote a really great article. Don't just press the share button. Go to the top of that article, the top of the post. There's 3 dots at the top there. Press the 3 dots, copy the URL, press the URL of the LinkedIn post in, and that will go okay. But right now, and it might be frustrating for everybody, and it is frustrating as a content creator on LinkedIn and other platforms, right now, the best performing posts consistently over the 6 months, now the numbers have dropped, but they're still the best performing posts, are polls, LinkedIn polls. Now, I know it's frustrating that all we're seeing is polls, but the reason why polls are going so well is because the algorithm is designed to acknowledge reactions. And when you're asking someone to vote on a poll, they're reacting and they're clicking a button instead of just reading and scrolling past. So they're engaging with the post, and the computer algorithm is saying people like this content. So right now, if we just post a poll and it has no engagement, it might get 7,000 to 10,000 views. Compared to a share, they'll get 100 views. So we're only getting 100 sets of eyeballs for a share. We're getting 4, 5, 6, 7,000 views for a poll. Images on LinkedIn used to work really well, not working so well right now. Videos used to work really well, not working so well right now, and the views are measured differently. So your trick for you right now is unfortunately on the LinkedIn platform right now, the posts that are performing the best are polls. And so the challenge as a creator and as a content creator and somebody who wants to share some ideas is, how can you get your ideas into a poll that is fun and entertaining for people to engage with? And if you can take your professional idea that you want to bring awareness to and get that into a poll, but it's got to be fun. And you have to ensure that seeing the blank poll creates curiosity, and people want to see the result. People like to be right. And so they want to see that their idea is the most popular one. They want to have that confirmed, and they want to vote. So it's got to be lighthearted. It's got to be simple. Don't overthink it. Don't make it really technical. Don't make it complicated. But for the next month, the best performing posts on LinkedIn will be polls. till the algorithm changes, and we'll see what's happening. The other thing that I want you to just be aware of is when you're scrolling through LinkedIn as a platform, and I'm going to get onto the other platforms in a second, that you see the different types of posts that you're being served in your feed. Someone liked something, someone commented on something, an ad or a sponsored post, maybe an article. Now, the second type of post over the next month, as you're posting on LinkedIn or you're thinking about what to post on LinkedIn, the second type of post I would encourage you to focus on is newsletters. LinkedIn newsletters at the moment, LinkedIn is emailing a notification that you have posted a new newsletter to all of your connections and followers. And so it's going to the email address that the user has put into their LinkedIn account. And so right now, I think I've got, somewhere more than 35,000 followers on LinkedIn. I'm not sure exactly where they are right now. We post a newsletter every week, and we know that LinkedIn sends an email notification and a link to the newsletter to everybody on everyone that's one of my followers. And right now, that is not giving me, it's not giving me a dashboard to say 35,000 views, but I know that there is 35,000 people or almost 40,000 people finding out or seeing some attention for me. So it works on the macro principle of it's not what you know, it's not who you know, it's who knows you. So I want you to be thinking about that. So over the next month, that's all we need to be focusing on. We need to be focusing on polls, and we need to be focusing on creating good quality newsletters and making sure create the newsletter and send it to your email list anyway that you've got for all of your contacts, but also load it on your personal LinkedIn page and press submit. And it's going to sit there in your newsletter list as you curate content, because LinkedIn is your personal website for your profession. So your CV or your resume now is a website, and LinkedIn is a good place to put that. But let's talk about TikTok quickly, because LinkedIn's only got 185 million members. Only 16.2% of those people use it on a daily basis. But let's quickly talk about TikTok and what's happening on TikTok. TikTok's got 1 billion users, and 90% of those users are on that platform every single day. So we have grown my personal TikTok account from basically zero less than 12 months ago to 20,000. I think we're over 20,000 followers now on the TikTok account in the last 12 months. Now they're not 5 and 6 and 10-year-olds. They're not all of my 11-year-old son's friends. They're all adults, and they're all people that are interested in consuming and engaging in the content we're producing. I would guess, and I don't know because I can't get this data, but I would guess that the average age of that audience is probably a little bit lower than my LinkedIn audience. I think my LinkedIn audience is probably maybe average age of mid-40s. And I think you probably find that the average age of my audience on TikTok is probably in the high 20s. So I've got to tweak my content and how I talk and the advice I give to people that are early in their career instead of midway through their career as we're producing content. But we cannot ignore the fact that there are significantly more users and significantly more people on the TikTok platform right now, and that will change over time. So what does that mean? That means we need to make video. So we just talked about making newsletters or polls for LinkedIn. We can't just make like one photo and post it on all of our platforms. We're focusing on making short videos on TikTok. We're typing and writing newsletters for LinkedIn, and we're thinking about interesting, creative, and humorous and funny polls for the LinkedIn platform. So the best way to make TikTok videos is don't think that you need to do a magic trick or a dance or something funny. All you really need to do is pick up your smartphone, open the TikTok app, get yourself set up. The first thing I'd recommend you do is do about 50 hours of consumption so that you get to understand the platform, practice, test. And remember, when you get started, you've got no followers or users anyway. So when I started on day one doing TikToks, I had one follower, and that was Luke, who's right behind the camera right now. And so we practiced. Now we have 20,000 people or 22,000, whatever our number is up to. Obviously we're getting better at making that stuff, and I've got people helping me. But the first thing to do, if you want to grow your awareness that you exist and grow your personal brand, then TikTok right now is something that you do not want to ignore. We are seeing way more views. Like a post last night on TikTok, really simple one. I think we're at about a little simple video. I think we're at about 7,000 views. We've got a few posts there that are at 800,000 views. So the highest performing post I think we've ever done on LinkedIn was about 500,000 views. On TikTok, we're 7, 8, 900,000 views. So it's really important to understand that although the audience is not necessarily the same as, say, LinkedIn, the LinkedIn algorithm is just not serving the content to the audience. So it's kind of meaningless that we do it. We still need to have a presence on the platform, but in terms of actually getting discovered and building our brand and building awareness that we exist and that we give great advice to help people grow businesses and help you succeed, then TikTok for us right now is a platform that we're focusing on, and it's probably 50% of our effort right now. So I want you to kind of pay attention. If this is helpful, I see we've got a bunch of people watching on YouTube. Hey, Ash, good to have you back. You're very welcome. Thank you very much for everything that you did for us, and I'm glad you received that gift. And Suki, good to have you on the Sunshine Coast. Patrice, great to have you watching from the USA. Let me know if this is helpful, and if you have missed the start, please go back. We're recording this. We're going to leave this on our YouTube channel. It'll be left on my LinkedIn page. That's the other interesting thing about LinkedIn is you can't kind of go and just look at all the videos I've ever made. It's kind of just a timeline, and you got to keep scrolling to see the content on LinkedIn. But you can go to the Best Practice TV YouTube channel and go and look at all the videos over time that we've produced. We will leave a recording of this video. It'll be available on the Best Practice TV YouTube channel. And we're taking the audio, the microphones that are sitting here in front of me, we're taking the audio and we're putting that up on the Kobe Simmet audio experience. So all your favorite podcast platforms have got the Kobe Simmet audio experience, or Talking Business, I think it's called now, Luke. Talking Business with Kobe Simmet on your favorite podcast platform. And you can have my dulcet vocal tones come straight to your ears when you're going about your daily business, either your commute or otherwise. So my son always has a giggle because my podcast pops up on our Netflix and on Spotify on our television in our living room. So he's like, "Dad, get off the TV." Okay, let's quickly talk about a little bit more about TikTok. The length of TikTok videos is increasing, and it will continue to increase. The discovery aspect of TikTok is ridiculous. So I think it's important to get some practice getting on TikTok and starting to talk about the things that you like to talk about and that you want people to be aware of, and start doing that to your camera. And it can be really simple about just opening the app, turning the camera around, and just standing like this and recording your videos. But it's got to be videos right now. Now, TikTok may change. The other thing too is, TikTok's goal is to make money through advertising. And if you've got content that goes really well and you're a brand and you've got some extra budget for advertising, I would also suggest that you start looking at TikTok advertising, because you can start to reach more refined audiences and make some awareness for your brand. So for somebody who's a small construction company, and Ashley, this could be for you guys, TikTok's relevance is it may be really hard right now to find laborers and staff and contractors. But when you go to site and you look at what they're doing at lunchtime and looking at what they're doing at morning tea, they are all on TikTok. So you can't argue that it's not the place to market, but it could be the place to market for people to come and join your team. You could show that it's a fun place to work and a fun place to buy from. And certainly it is part of our recruitment strategy for our big factory business. It's the other business that's here on this site that we do TikToks. And if you want to go and have a look at that account, it's called Black Lab or Black Lab Design. And that's our big factory. And Nick makes the TikTok videos and the Instagram reels, and it's part of our recruitment strategy. So it contributes to the workplace culture. And we have people coming to work here because they love what we're doing on social media. So just be aware of that. I think don't ignore it. There's a really great opportunity for a land grab now on user grab, numbers of users to grow very quickly, because there's not as many creators on TikTok as there are on LinkedIn. Now, I haven't got those statistics, very hard to get. But I could honestly say that there are probably more creators on LinkedIn than there are on TikTok. Easy to make TikTok videos, but good quality stuff, not so many people. So it's very easy to get attention and to get views and get people's awareness. But just be mindful, there's 1 billion users per day. There's 1 billion users on TikTok, and 90% of them are using it. Yes, I agree, Ashley, and I'm going to talk to you about that. The biggest issue is getting on-site content from the boys as you're always in the office. Yes, I want to come and talk to you about that. We're thinking about ways in which we might be able to help with that. So I'll organize a time to come and help you. How can I make it easier? Help to make it easier for people to get, for you to get content so you can post it. It is tricky. It's a big challenge. That's why we just do it ourselves. You've seen our business. We just have a team that collects and curates their own content, but we're working out, can we solve that problem? Because you've got a similar problem, which is, how can I get the content? I have people here helping me in the studio make this content, but that does take an investment, and not everyone sees the value in doing that, and that does take time. But my prediction is that in 5 years' time, we will all have people helping us in our businesses make videos. It's going to explode. It's going to be ridiculous explosion in video production, because you want to see videos. You like videos. Look at this right now. It's amazing. You're getting this interactive experience. It happens to be live. And so 5 years down the track, people are expecting it. And in fact, we're seeing that now with the really big tenders, multi-million-dollar tenders our factory does, that our customers really like the videos we produce because we show them what's happening. So, we can talk about that down the track. Okay, let's talk about Instagram. I think Instagram's a great platform. I really like it. What I really like about Instagram for creative brands, for architect, I like architecture, I like creative, I like good photography, I like fashion, I like things like that, and where photos play out really well, that's really good. However, photos on Instagram are not performing in terms of getting lots of reach. And even if you've got a lot of followers, and I have a lot of followers on Instagram, when I post a picture, they don't all see it. So the two things that are working really well so what to avoid on Instagram. I think it's important to post an image on your Instagram page maybe once or twice a week. That's probably enough. But I would be suggesting that you do need to post reels, which are short videos on Instagram, and stories on Instagram, and stories of things that are behind the scenes for your company or for you, or for things that are behind the scenes in your life, because people want to be involved in that. Great thing about stories is you post it, 24 hours later, it's gone. And so I think people like the behind the scenes aspect of what's happening. But Instagram is also becoming a website, particularly for construction companies, for building companies, for people who do creative work, those kinds of things. Instagram is definitely a kind of finished product, beautiful images place to put photos. And I think that's important. That tells a story. The video side of things, there's a tab obviously for your reels and your videos. There's IGTV, there's other features. But right now, what's working on Instagram is reels and stories. And what is not working on Instagram in terms of lots of reach and lots of views is images. So posting images on Instagram is important. So when people come to your page, they search, I want to look at your organization or you. I'm going to search for you on Instagram and I want to come and look at your page. They want to see some pictures. But in terms of being a follower and giving them value over time, it's videos, reels. Right now, the platform is preferencing reels, and then obviously stories, so people can see the behind the scenes. So it's kind of a multifaceted approach, a lot going on. Okay, what's the next one to talk about? Facebook. What should we do about Facebook? We have about 14,500 followers on Facebook, on our company Facebook page. And when we post something on Facebook, it gets this many views. So I think the Facebook platform right now isn't working so well. And so I wouldn't kind of focus too much on it in terms of getting any form of reach unless you've got a really engaged audience. So hello to everybody who's just jumped on and is watching on LinkedIn or they're watching on YouTube. Let me know in the world where you are watching from. And if you have got any questions regarding what some of the current social media trends are in May 2022 and what's happening. So what did I get up to? Facebook. Facebook, I don't know. It's a funny beast right now. They've just released, they're showing Instagram Reels on Facebook to get regular Facebook users to go over and start using Instagram. So even Facebook, and they did a big rebrand this year to change the company name to Meta because they're going to be focusing on the metaverse. There's some really interesting interviews coming out. Mark Zuckerberg has been kind of doing a show, and seeing a few people. There's a really great interview about the future of Facebook on the Impact Theory, Tom Bailey's YouTube channel. We'll post a link to that in the comments below all of these videos later on down the track. So if someone can do that for me, the Tom Bailey, Mark Zuckerberg interview went up on Tom Bailey's Impact Theory YouTube channel about a week ago. And it talks about Mark Zuckerberg's talking with Tom Bailey about the future of metaverse and devices and those kinds of things and what's on the short range horizon. The product that Meta, the Facebook company, is going to be focusing on releasing is augmented reality goggles or lenses. And so that says to me that video and augmented reality or three-dimensional photos is going to be the way to go, but it needs to be interactive. Now, to build the software to run three-dimensional experience in video kind of format requires a ridiculous amount of computing power, and we've all gone back to smartphones and laptops. So it's going to be a long time, and I don't think this is going to happen, but we need really bulky gaming computers under our desk, like massive computers with lots of, purple, green, yellow, and red lights to run the metaverse. Now, I can't see you going to your local video game shop and buying a ridiculously sized terabyte of RAM gaming computer right now. No, you're not interested in doing that because you're not going to be wanting to spend 20 grand on it. So the metaverse is not here for the next 10 years. What is here soon is the consumption of already the content that you consume, but in a screen that is maybe closer and is a bit more of an interactive experience with speakers and microphones that are closer to your ears. But at the moment, when you drive, on my commute to work, I'm going past bus stops and I'm seeing people on buses and everybody's looking at a screen and they're looking at it like that. So what Mark Zuckerberg is saying is I can change someone's experience to that they're sitting there. They're not actually looking down or holding a screen. They can have their hands back. So think augmented reality, think projected onto a screen that's much closer to your face as an experience. However, we also need to ask the question, what is Facebook's main revenue source? And their main revenue source is advertising. And what do they need to sell good quality advertising? They need data. So when you listen to the interview with Mark Zuckerberg and Tom Bailey, which is a fantastic interview, listen for what Mark Zuckerberg is focusing on. He's focusing on microphone so that the software can listen to everything you're talking about, and he's focusing on cameras. So Facebook wants to see what you're seeing and hear what you're saying so that they can then serve you more advertising and more paid content that people are paying to serve to you. So we're not going to be seeing anything significant. So if you're somebody who is producing content or creating content, that you want to put money behind to push out to the audience, then think about that and creating that content. And that's kind of where I think Facebook's at right now. They're kind of back in development mode and build mode, but we're not seeing anything perform on Facebook. Videos, pictures, text, nothing's really working. Now that might just be us, but we have posted a lot. But what I'm observing as a Facebook user is that they are showing reels and they're trying to push people across to Instagram. So just keep that in mind, that it kind of encourages you to double down on reels on Instagram. Okay, I'm going to finish on Twitter because I'm conscious of everybody's time. I didn't want to take up too much of people's time. There's been a lot of news over the last month about the Elon Musk acquisition of Twitter and getting involved. And I think that's brought Twitter the most attention that it's had in over 10 years. We've found that Twitter is really a journalist platform and a kind of in the now tweeting kind of thing as a bit more like a proper news feed rather than created content. And so we're seeing creators on Twitter not really taking too much time to make really high quality, well thought out content. And it's kind of a bit more like short-term, in the moment gossip on the Twitter page. So I haven't had a lot of success myself on Twitter, nor can I really kind of get a grasp on it. But when there are news and current affairs and current world events, Twitter tends to be a place where you can go and see what's trending and actually get involved in the news and see what people are commenting on. But it's a lot of small pieces of content. So as far as content creation goes and building brand, I'm not sure it's the place you want to be, but you do want to be aware of it so that you can understand how the kind of news cycle is working, because it's moved from commercial television and commercial radio out to Twitter. And it's a very kind of, 3-word piece of social media. So, okay. Thank you very much to the team at Best Practice. They have just posted the link to the Tom Bailey interview with Mark Zuckerberg on the YouTube video on the Best Practice TV YouTube channel in the comments. So you can see what I'm talking about there. Just jump on and click that link. It's about an hour-long interview, and I want you to listen between the words of what Mark Zuckerberg is saying, and also think about what he's not saying and not commenting on, because Tom Bailey talks about NFTs, And then Mark Zuckerberg literally went round that conversation and kind of talked about, microphones and speakers and that kind of stuff with regards to glasses. So, and also the fact that they're trying to work out how they can get sensors to see what your fingers are doing so you can have a virtual or augmented reality keyboard. So the trends, let's just go back over them. For those of you that have just joined us, I wanted to give you some value. If you're producing content and you're producing it on social media, let's go back to where we started. We started with LinkedIn. LinkedIn, the kinds of posts that are going to get you more views right now on LinkedIn are polls. What to avoid on LinkedIn: do not share pieces of content. You will get no views. Like, of course, you can share it. You can do whatever you want. Don't let me stop you. But you will get no views if you share a piece of content. Someone posted something. You hit the share button. You press share and post. That won't get any views because it's not your content. You've got to produce your own content. So on LinkedIn, we want to be focusing on polls right now. The polls need to be simple. They need to be easy to engage with. They need to create curiosity, and they need to be fun. So keep that in mind. Don't kind of spend a lot of time with your mental engine running to try to come up with something really clever. That'll flop. It's got to be simple, entertaining, and fun, and around your subject line. Stay in your subject area, stay in your profession with your content, and it'll go well for your audience. Okay, focusing on Instagram right now. Reels are trending on Instagram. They're getting more views than ever before because Facebook is showing Instagram Reels on Facebook, and they're trying to bring people across. If you click on a reel on Facebook, it will try to launch Instagram, excuse me, and bring you back to that platform. So have a think about that. And what else did we talk about? We talked about Twitter. I think Twitter's worth paying attention to, whether this Elon Musk thing happens or not. But let's say if Elon gets success with the Twitter deal and that all goes through, watch this space, because I suspect that he will do some quite radical stuff with it, and be aware of that. And then obviously we talked about TikTok. I think it's important that you focus on TikTok, at least set up the account for you, your business, or for your organization. Start consuming content, searching some of the hashtags, looking at the business content, because you could be there before your competitors. Don't wait for your competitors to be there and experiment and then copy them. Get in there before your competitors, because at the moment you're going to get the opportunity of being early on the platform. Like, I still feel like I'm too late. I still feel like, we've been going, reasonably hard on TikTok for 2 years. I still think I should have gone even harder right at the very beginning. So we are trying very hard, and we're looking out for what the new platform might be. So focusing on short videos on TikTok for your organization, you really need to be doing that. Try to do one a week just as a starting point, I think is a good thing. We try to do a couple of, if we could do a couple a day, it'd be great. One a day is a good benchmark for us right now. And that's it. I think Facebook, it's a hard thing right now. Businesses aren't really getting much traction because Facebook wants you to pay to show your content to your audience. And that's fine because they need money to support their platform, but you're just not getting any views, and it has changed a lot. Okay, has anyone got any questions? So I'm going to have a sip of this amazing cup of coffee that I made for myself, and let's go in cold. So let me know where you are watching in the world. Has this been helpful? I'm going to come on in about a month's time. We're going to be talking about more trends, and there will be more trends next week, trends in business, what we're happening with the economy. I will talk next week about the big crypto crash and what's happening with stocks. I want to see that play out for another week. I think we're about to see another big step down in global stock markets and global crypto markets. I think we'll see a step down. The pattern is playing out as far as market cycles usually do. And I think that we're going to see that play out for probably another 9 to 12 months. So if hopefully that informs you on what you need to do. If you want to get in the markets, wait another 9 to 12 months. If you want to get out of the markets because they're going down, they're going to go down further. I'm not giving financial advice, but I'm going to talk to you about the patterns that I'm seeing. I'm not a financial advisor, but people are asking me, okay, how's that going to affect my business? So if a downturn in those public trading markets affects your business, then your business is going to get affected. And that's what I'm here to do, is to hopefully help you succeed in the future, see a little bit over the horizon as what's coming, and help your business to be more profitable, a great place to work, and a great place to buy from in the future. So I'll talk about more trends of the markets next week. and we can get on and talk about that. And I'll give you what I think is going to happen. I've been around a long time. My parents lost everything in the crash of the early 90s. And so I've been to the very bottom of the barrel. I've been homeless. So I want you to think about that and think about your, looking out for your family and your organization. So we'll talk about those trends next week. Today's been a day for trends in social media, and I will come back and talk about trends in social media and marketing in about a month's time. So in about, maybe the fourth one of these. So if you want to bookmark that for mid-June, then we'll come back and circle back to this topic. We are live, same time, same place, weekly, every time. So wherever you are in the world and what time it is right now, then I will be back same time, same place this time next week for trends in business and trends in macroeconomics and the economy to help you in your career, in your organization, and what to focus on in the rest of 2022 through to 2023 and what the trends will be that I am seeing. Here at Best Practice, we talk about stuff you can't Google. So get ready for that. You won't be able to Google what we're talking about because we aggregate it from our observations of our own clients. Okay, no questions, which is excellent. Can you guys just refresh that LinkedIn page for me so I can just check that I've got everything? Let me know if this has been helpful. Let me know where you are watching from in the world. We good for on Facebook, so many fake ads, and there's organizations scrutinized carefully. I agree. Dr. Shaishta, I hope I've said your name correctly. On Facebook, so many fake ads are there. The organization needs to scrutinize carefully. That's correct. The Tom Bailey interview link has been posted in the comments there on LinkedIn. If you want to scroll in the comments and click that link to launch that interview, I recommend watching that. If you are interested in this area, because it kind of gives you a macro view from Mark Zuckerberg as to what he's planning to do with Facebook and Instagram. Remember, Facebook or Meta owns Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, and obviously Facebook Messenger. So I suspect, if you want my big prediction right now, you heard it here first, I suspect that in 2023, WhatsApp will turn into a social media platform. Last week, they added reactions. They added the reactions button so you can react to WhatsApp messages. You can put love hearts, and likes and dislikes and that kind of stuff. I only use WhatsApp myself for like sporting teams for my son, like sailing and soccer and the sports that my son does. And that's where we use WhatsApp. But I suspect it'll be interesting to see the users on WhatsApp. And I suspect that they will blend in somehow some kind of groups feature on WhatsApp, and it will become more of a platform. And it's certainly happening. People are managing big groups and big communities on WhatsApp. So things like pinning posts. So it'll behave a lot like maybe like an email list, and maybe like Facebook did right at the very beginning. So Mark Zuckerberg or Facebook bought WhatsApp so they could use the code behind the Facebook and Instagram messaging services. So that's been really interesting. Matt, thank you very much. I appreciate your thanks. And everyone that's been watching today, I appreciate everybody's time. I'm here to help you guys. That's been what's happening right now, what's trending right now in terms of kinds of posts and trends on the different platforms and how you can use them for business. Hope it's been helpful. Please, we're obviously recording the audio. That's going to be available on the podcast. If there's people that you'd like to share that podcast with, or you like podcasts, you like consuming the content, and anyone listening on the podcast, hello. If you missed out on seeing the videos. So great to have you guys listening to the podcast. So for you guys, your podcast listeners, because I know there's a few people that don't watch the videos. So lovely to have everybody. Appreciate everybody's time. I love you all. We have a great fan base here at Best Practice, and I love making this content for you and being here in the studio. I'm interviewing someone really interesting in about an hour's time, and that'll come out on our podcast in about 24 hours after this recording. A gentleman in New Zealand who runs a company called Potent Media. And that's going to be a really interesting interview. We've got some great content coming out with regards to that particular interview. That interview, I'm literally here in the studio. We're going to be recording that in an hour. And then I'm pretty confident Luke will have that out in the next 24 hours. So look out for that interview with Stu Lees from Potent Media in New Zealand. Really great guy, and has some absolutely great content on LinkedIn. Okay, so if you don't see us here on LinkedIn, if you don't see us on Facebook, you won't, because Facebook never shows our content to anyone anyway. If you don't see me on Instagram, if you don't catch me on TikTok, you'll definitely see me back here, right here in the studio on Talking Business on Best Practice TV. My name's Kobe Simon. I'm the CEO here at Best Practice. I love having you guys here. This has been an absolutely sensational episode. Same time, same place next week. Share it with your friends. Let's get some more people in as I talk about macroeconomics and what I see going on in the global economy with market sell-offs, the crypto crash, where we've seen over 70% of value wiped off that particular market. We've seen billionaires go all the way back to millionaires. So get rich quick, get poor quick. We'll talk a lot about that next week and what my predictions are for the market cycle and the future. So my name's Kobe Simmet. Thanks for joining us on Best Practice TV. Bye for now.